Alright, welcome everyone. In this video, this is going to be a little interesting, and I want to clarify something before I get started because I don't want anyone to take this the wrong way. Marte Gracia, one of my favorite colorists, probably my favorite colorist, posted something on Instagram actually a couple of months ago that I just found. I was skimming through his timeline, and this is one of the things I like about Marte is he's very open and very transparent sometimes in his own work, and he's very self-deprecating and at times. And so I wanted to do a video really about this post from Instagram. And what it says sometimes a few pages turn out a bit hard to read. This is a direct reference to the colorist skills I bleep up pretty often. Family-friendly channel. Hashtag coloring don'ts. And then there's a couple of people asking, could you explain what you meant? And, I don't see what you mean. Can you explain that? And so I want to do a video to attempt to explain what he meant here. And I don't know Marte that well. I hope he doesn't take this the wrong way. I just wanted to use this as kind of an educational tool. And he himself said that it's a bit hard to read. So I think this would be a good example of just how subtle changes can make a big difference in kind of page readability, and maybe we can all learn something in the meantime. So, all right, let's go. I found a high resolution version of the page online, and it's just 3 panels. It's this big panel when you've got this, let me get my drawing tool. You got the sentinel back here, it's blowing up a truck here, and then you've got Jean Grey like catching the truck or blocking it or something in that panel. And then in this panel, you've got Angel over here, you've got Beast, and then you've got a Sentinel. And then you've got this last panel, which I think this last panel actually works pretty well. But I think what he means here, and again, this is just my 2 cents, it's a busy page, and the color could do a better job of clarifying what's happening. So one concept I want to bring up right off the bat, and this is something that actually I was doing some critiques for students in my course, and just today, and in both the critiques that I was doing, I came up with the same problem in both cases. When you've got a page that you're wondering how well it reads, zoom out, okay? Zoom way out. Because if you're holding a page at arm's length, okay, you should still at least be able to tell in a general way what's happening with the action. You can point out the foreground and the background. You might not be able to see the facial expressions or really small details, but you should at least be able to see an overall idea about what's happening in those panels. And with these first 2 panels, it's tough. It's tough to do that on these. This brings up another point that I've talked about recently and in a couple of different critiques, is that realistic lighting is not always the answer. Okay, sometimes realism is bad in the lighting. Actually, it can actually count against you when you're trying to clarify a page. And like in this second panel here, I really like, it's a really cool kind of lighting setup where we've got these really bright red lights here in the background. You guys can see those, and they're throwing light on Angel and on Beast back, and it's really well rendered. The way Marte always renders things, it's very well done. It looks like those people would look if they were lit by that red light. But does it make the panel work is the question. And if it doesn't, realism might not be the way to go, And so what I did a couple of things really quick, and I don't have the flats for this or anything, so this is sort of rough. But in this first panel here, one of the easiest ways to separate elements is just by creating contrast with temperature of the colors, like warm and cool. Jean Grey is like a warm pink. You've got all this red, orange, and yellow here, which is warm, and even the Sentinel in the back is warm. So one really quick way that you could help create some separation through here is to do something maybe like this. And let me see if I can get this to show up. There we go. And I picked a color that Marte likes to use a lot, that really bright, saturated blue. It looks awesome. You know, doing something like this, and even doing it, you could have done it in the background in a way. Some of these areas where there's a good bit of contrast, and you know, that can be toned down some with maybe a blue to help separate it from what's going on in the background. That's just one way. Now you'll notice I kept his hand orange because you've got the light from the blast, you know, so that's one way that possibly could have been done. The other thing, and I don't know how well this works, but I was just kind of playing around with it, and again, this is not exact, but if you had something like this where, you know, Jean Grey's power, I'm going to erase some of this through here. There we go. So Jean Grey's power is pink, you know, so perhaps just making her holding that truck pink, and honestly the lights from the truck probably should have been red. And again, this is not exact, I did this really quickly before the video, but now you get these big shapes. You've got the big blue shapes from the Sentinel back here, you've got the orange from the blast, you've got the pink in the truck, and you've got the action down here that all kind of ties that together. So, you know, that was just a couple of quick, you know, these are just color mode layers on top. But I think it reads a little bit clearer now that there's less, the shape's a little bit simpler, and in what is a very busy page with a lot of, or a very busy panel with a lot of things going on. Again, don't shoot me, I am not telling Marte Gracia how to color, just throwing out some ideas of how it could have been improved. Alright, and in this panel I did, what did I do here? I did this. Now again, this is probably no longer a realistic color. This yellow that is, you know, it's popping on these characters, and I actually changed the skin tone on Beast to a little bit more of a natural color. It didn't take much, just shifting it a little bit warmer, because in the original you have this blue on the Sentinel, and it's all blue through here, and then Beast is mostly blue. He's pretty much the same color, and I think that's what Marte meant here in his Instagram post, was that the readability could have been better. You know, if you warm Beast up just a little bit and he really pops against that Sentinel, or you know, if you think that the Angel is kind of getting lost over here in all the red, you know, just throw that local color on there, or do some. I could have done any number of things here, but I put that original yellow back in. Now, is that a realistic color that you would probably see in this lighting scenario? No, but it does help the page read better. So now we can back off this a little bit, and you know, like I said, it reads a little bit more clear now, I think, and this is probably what Marte had in mind. And the last panel, I didn't touch that one because I think I like that one the way it is. You've got the bright pinkish purple from Jean Grey. You've got red on Cyclops, blue behind him. I think that all works pretty well. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is a little bit different than what I normally do. And if you have questions or comments or anything, feel free to put those in the description. One of the questions I get the most is, you know, how do I get a critique on my own work? I do that in my coloring course for all of my students there, and that's just kind of part of the deal. If you're enrolled, then you can post work, and I'll give you feedback, and if you want to redo it, you can redo it. If you want to do new stuff, do new stuff. I've been doing that most of the morning, answering those questions. So if you guys like this kind of video, I might try to do more. It has to be with my own work, usually, because I wouldn't have done this if Marte wouldn't have said that on Instagram, because I'm definitely not, like I said, I'm not telling him how to do anything, because he's one of my favorites, but I thought it was an excellent opportunity to showcase how important storytelling is when coloring. That's really what matters. You know, you could be the best renderer in the world, and if the pages don't read very well, then, you know, that's your job. That's your job as a colorist. So anyway, again, thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, all that stuff I always ask you guys to do. It does help. So see you in the next one.